It's been a couple of days now, and I have finally had the time to sit down and really process the fact that Nintendo showed up at the Direct and just casually announced a remake of my favorite game of all time, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. And it looks incredible. It looks beautiful. It looks faithful to the original, and it's coming out this year. This is a game that feels like it should not exist. I'm happy that it does. I'm over the moon that it exists, but this always felt like one of those games that was always going to get stuck in licensing hell, or Nintendo would never be able to get Square Enix back on board to do a remake, or even the idea that Nintendo themselves would even want to do a remake. And yet here we are. And it means so much to myself as well as so many other fans of this game. People have campaigned for so long over the years for this game to return. People like Papa Gino's. You got Operation Starfall. The countless people on forums, old Nintendo YouTube that praised this game, that started the whole Gino for Smash movement. That's what the Gino for Smash movement really started as at its core. It was never really about getting Gino into Smash. I mean, for some people it was, but the end goal was always this: a return to Super Mario RPG, either a remake or a sequel, just some acknowledgement from Nintendo. So this has been a long time coming, and it's still insane to think that this is a reality. And hey, we finally have our answer as to why the game never came to NSO. I mean, people had speculated for a while, like, oh, maybe it's not coming because they're making a remake. But that was always just this slim pipe dream that people had. A lot of people were like, oh, it couldn't be that. They're probably just tied up with licensing issues with Square. They don't want their games on Nintendo Switch Online. But no, they were in fact remaking it. And I am so happy that a new generation of people are going to be able to play this game for the first time. Now, of course, you have the longtime fans of the original who were just so excited that this game was returning. But then you also have people who might have heard of the game from early internet Nintendo culture, and they know of the game's legendary status, but they never had a chance to play it, or they thought that the game was like dated and they wanted to maybe wait for a remake. Well, now's their chance. And that's why I'm so happy that it's faithful, because it really does look like the same game with a fresh coat of paint, and I couldn't have asked for anything more, except maybe a sequel, but I still think that could come down the line. Now that we have a remake, if it sells well, which I think it will, we could have a sequel down the line. Because if you recall, in an interview a while back, the original game's director, Chihiro Fujioka, did say that he would want to return to Super Mario RPG, that he would love for his last game that he directed to potentially be a sequel. So maybe that's in the cards, maybe that is coming, but either way, it's still nice to have the original back at the very least. But I do gotta say that from looking at the trailer, there was a bit more work done on this game than just a fresh coat of paint. Like, yes, the game at its core seems very faithful, very one-to-one, but there are minor quality of life changes that are really nice to see, like Princess Peach being changed to actually being called Peach rather than Princess Toadstool, the designs being updated to reflect more of the modern Mario look. I would have maybe preferred like more of a diorama sort of toy box look for the models, but this is fine too. I mean, I can't nitpick too much. It's my favorite game getting remade. I really couldn't ask for more, but it does still seem like they are providing more. If you look in the trailer, you see a lot of cutscenes, and while a lot of these cutscenes could be for actual scenes in the game, there are also action cutscenes that seem to feature multiple characters, and I'm curious to see if that's some new sort of like team attack that's in the game. Because another part of the trailer, you could see that if you did your timed hits and you did them consecutively, there was like this chain combo building up on the left, and there's almost this meter that was building up with a certain percentage, and I'm curious if when that percentage fills up, if it's going to be like a party limit break or even a party super attack featuring all three characters. If we got new attacks and like brand new animations featuring a multitude of trios, because there's a bunch of combinations of party members that you can do, that'd be really cool to see. And on the topic of the cutscenes, I'm also curious if we're going to be getting voice acting, because in one of the scenes where you see Gino about to attack, you see his mouth moving. Now, this could just be for aesthetic to imply that he's talking, but knowing Square Enix, I wouldn't be shocked if we do get voice acting. That would be crazy to hear voices coming from Gino and Mallow, and potentially even Bowser and Peach, or or even other enemies. If Exor got like the big intimidating voice, or Yardovich got a voice, that'd be really cool to see, but I'm not holding my breath for that. Now, this next thing is even more of just a big wish of mine. I'm not going to be upset if it doesn't happen, but I would like to see a little bit more of the lore in this world expanded upon. Stuff like maybe giving a little bit more character development, having more character interactions, especially if we get voice acting. I think that'd be really cool to see. But more importantly, I'd like to see if we see more of the lore of Star Road expanded upon, namely where Gino really comes from, because he always says that he serves a higher authority. It'd be really interesting to actually see who that higher authority is. Maybe we could get in like a prologue cutscene or an epilogue, but I've always thought that Gino's higher authority that he talks about could potentially be the Star Spirits from the original Paper Mario. That'd be really cool to bring things full circle and directly tie in Mario RPG to Paper Mario, because the original Paper Mario was supposed to be a sequel to Mario RPG. So that'd be kind of cool if they went back and are like, yeah, this game is directly tied into the original Paper Mario. I just think that that'd be a really neat touch. And honestly, if they are updating stuff to be more in line with modern Mario canon, especially with the models, I would not be shocked if Rosalina is that higher authority that Gino talks about. I mean, hell, maybe instead of being a Star Spirit, Gino could be a Luma. They could change little things, and I could see them making these changes, especially if they're building up for a potential sequel. Maybe something exploring the Star Road a little bit more, or just the world in general. But I do think that they have the potential to really flesh out this world and set up for future entries, because another big thing with this game coming back is it's filling this void that we've had with Mario RPGs lately. Sure, we've had the Mario Rabbids games, but there's been a drought because Paper Mario is not the same series that it used to be. The Mario and Luigi series is effectively dead right now, so we have a slot that needs to be filled, and I could absolutely see Super Mario RPG filling that slot. It's a great game. It's gonna probably gain a large number of new fans, so let it happen, Nintendo. If this game sells well, I really do think that a sequel or multiple sequels are in the cards. Now, before I wrap up here, I want to touch on one final thing regarding Nintendo and Square. I am curious to see that if Square is working on this with Nintendo again, if their relationship is sort of rekindled. I mean, Nintendo and Square have already had a pretty decent working relationship recently, but I'm talking about doing direct collaborations with each other, really working together, because Mario RPG coming back, that could open the door for Square working on other Nintendo IP. I know it feels like a stretch, but I don't think it would be completely out of the realm of possibility to see stuff like Square tackling maybe a Zelda spin-off or doing something with Fire Emblem. Like, this could be a relationship where if they are working closely together again, we could get some really interesting collaborations between Nintendo and Square Enix. And like I said before, it's a really huge stretch. I do have to say though, if this is the return of Super Mario RPG, like actually returning, I want to see the characters from these games brought in to mainline Mario canon, or even the spin-offs, just something, because I feel like Nintendo missed that opportunity with characters from the Mario and Luigi series or even Paper Mario, but Super Mario RPG is so beloved, and I would hate for this game to come back just for it to get immediately shelved again. Bring these characters into more Mario spin-offs at the very least. Let Gino and Mallow into Mario Kart or something. Now, this isn't me campaigning for like, oh, Gino's back, oh, he's gonna get into Smash, he's a shoo-in now. Well, I do think that Gino has more of a shot for something like Smash. This is just more about talking about the fact that these are Mario characters. Even though Square owns them, they are characters in a Mario universe. So I would love to see them brought into more Mario games. I really feel like that's not too much to ask for. Oh, and if these characters do come back and they're added to more Mario games, I want a Gino and Mallow amiibo. Please. Just a figure of some sort that I can display on my shelf for Gino and Mallow. That's it. And I think that about does it for my thoughts on Super Mario RPG coming back. I'm so happy that after so long, we finally got this game back. And I just hope that this ushers in a new era of fans, a new era for the Mario RPG series potentially. But we'll just have to wait and see. For now, I think that's enough out of me. So if you guys like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.